9, I believe it's 24 laps. Oh, big collision. Armada really gets the worst. And, oh yeah, Luke got collisioned here, so change for big, hold on, multiple drivers getting involved. Wow, Roman, that's the leader down. Leader down hard, too. He dodges way through that other collision that happens close by. Who got involved in this other one? Oh, Cloudle got oh, that was close. We'll have to see how he can deal with it, though, because he's still, you know, pretty close in collision range with, like, the entire pack through here. So, yeah, the gap must have even stretched a bit. Probably from these guys just battling so hard in that instance where Turkey hit Dil as well. So, yeah, Slaunch. Oh, and there it is! Cloudle. Luke comes across the line, takes his second win on the night. Real Deal will finish second. Slaunch third. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HRL TRS Season 6 Grand Finals, race number 4 at Dissendium. Going into our Halo 3 tracks. These tracks are going to be back-to-back, Word to Drake, on the night here. So we're doing Dissendium, and then we're doing Chromic right afterwards, taking a look at the points going into this race. And our top 5 contenders, it's looking like at the moment, are Luke, Real Deal, Soul, Papa, and Roman. So we'll see if any switch-ups there happen after this race. Taking a look at the track. Pretty common map for these Halo 3 tracks to be on. It's just the easiest one to make work, to be honest. There are other tracks that can work, or other maps, I should say, that can work. But this one is just, like, the best setup for TRS on Halo 3, I would say. Again, the main issue is just not having 16 gooses on all the maps. That would fix a lot. Taking a look at the lineup here, that big P next to Real Dill's name shows that he had the number 1 pick for this race. So we'll see if it works out for him. And we're going green. Looks like Hunter and Soul with pretty good jumps. Soul's going to have the lead coming out of the cross jump. Oh yeah, I should mention that. Freaking cross jump. This track has one. And we're looking for one throughout the season. Never happened. Oh, big hit there. So now here we are with a cross jump on this Halo 3 track. Oh, man. Real deal with the recovery there. So Luke's going to be leading the first lap down. Looks like Armada second, and then Soul and Hunter battling for third and fourth. But yeah, we got a cross jump. It's about time. Again, regular season 1-1 just never ended up happening. So here we are with the cross jump track in the grand finals. And that could lead to a lot of cheese. Because of the cross jump, I think that going into the night, I thought that this was like a wild card track, in my opinion. Wow, lots of issues here, by the way. 4 drivers going down there. But yeah, a bit of a wild card track for me, I thought, because of just the potential of cheese with a cross jump collision. Nice wheelie out of Roman there. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, you know, you can have hits there that can be like normal collision hits, but when they're bad, they're probably going to be so much worse on that section, especially if you get knocked the wrong way, and then you have to go, like, back the wrong way to get back going the right way on the jump, and then you probably have to, like, roll it as well. You can't really jump to get back on the right track going the wrong way. If you don't really see what I'm saying, big pile up here, by the way. Big pile up. Like, 4 or 5 drivers involved in that one. If you don't really get what I'm saying, as soon as we get a couple cross-jump collisions, you'll know what I mean. Sometimes one driver, or usually what tends to happen, and this happens on normal collisions as well, it's not something unique to cross-jump collisions, is like one driver. Oh, we have our first, like, couple big ones here, and that's going to be the leader. Luke had a pretty big lead, and Opix hits him with a massive collision right there, and that's a big moment, I think, potentially in this race, because as you can see, Luke's lead was huge, and it's still pretty big, but he was already in the zone right there, where if he got away from those collisions, it could have been a runaway race. But that collision from Opix right there, I think, potentially just saved the race for some of these other drivers trying to fight for that win. Because, again, if he got through those first couple midair collisions there, the gap was already huge, and I think it would have just gotten bigger if he could have gotten through those. But, again, Opix hit him, Soul the big hit right there, and now I think that brings the race back into the other podium drivers' favor, who I believe are Detail and Real Deal right now. And that was Luke going by right there, so yeah, you can still tell. Massive gap. That's Detail and Real Deal right there going to the finish. So still a pretty big gap, but now I would say a workable one. But yeah, once we get to it, you'll see what I mean. Like, sometimes, or usually what happens is, like, one of the drivers will keep their momentum, and then one of the drivers will just get cheesed. You know, I think it's going to be pretty rare on this mid-air collision that both drivers get hit pretty hard. I'm sure it'll happen too, but again, just like the regular collisions, what tends to happen is like one driver just goes on their way and the other one just gets absolutely cheesed. But on this cross jump, it's a little more brutal because for the driver that gets cheesed, you're probably going to get put into the wrong section and you're going to have to go the wrong way to get going the right way, to get back going the right way, and that's obviously pretty dangerous. We got a wheelie out of Armada. Cross jump cheese behind us. What is going on in this race? We've had, you know, we're just a few minutes in and we've had multiple, like, 4 or 5 driver incidents, and in some of them, it's not even, like, them all hitting each other. It's just, like, happening around each other. Again, I think the wild card nature of this race is getting shown a little bit here early on with how cheesy it is. Like, I don't think, the first few races, we had a lot of good, like, on-track battles. Oh, man, rough hit right there. Roman. We had a lot of great on-track battles. I don't think that's going to be the case on this track. I think this track is going to be more about survival. I think this track's going to be more about, you know, get through those collision zones and don't get absolutely destroyed. Got a replay there. Soul and Armada. And man, if Armada could have landed that on the downside of the landing, that would have looked awesome, but unfortunately came up a little bit short. But yeah, it was almost a perfect recovery right there. And I think he just absolutely sent it into Turkey. I'm pretty sure he did after recovery, because that's pretty funny. Love to see that. I think Turkey could even respect that, probably. But anyways, we should be getting pretty close. About like 5 minutes in here, so we should be getting pretty close to like the halfway point of this race. Feels like it's going by really fast, but yeah, we've already done quite a few laps. Surprisingly. Is that another drive? Yeah, a lot of drivers coming up short and having issues flipping on that landing. Not even with people hitting them in the collision, they're just on their own, they're just having issues with it. We've definitely seen many drivers get held up by that. And this is a little pack right here, and I believe detail at the back of it. Oh, did I fail to mention, by the way, maybe I just like casually mentioned it, detail is back in for this race. Cloudle has retired, so shout out to Cloudle for coming in clutch for detail here and you know, racing the first few races, but you know, it's back to normal, so don't need Cloudle anymore. Should be the retirement of Cloudle for the career, hopefully. And detail's back in for this race. So if I failed to mention that earlier, yeah, he is back in for this race and should be back in for the rest of the night, so. Oh, massive collision. And this was actually for the lead. Hunter gets into Luke, and Real Deal was pretty close behind him, but he did have the lead. But obviously this collision, so brutal, is going to put Real Deal to the lead. And we're getting all the replays on this one. And look at how big that was. That almost sent Luke out of the track. And it kind of did. I mean, he was over the wall for a second and had to roll back in. And look at this. Detail comes around the outside. Word to Eminem. Going to make the move there for second place. That collision was so brutal. Real Deal and Luke had a gap on Detail, but it was so brutal that he was able to make up that gap and get around him. Luke falls all the way back down to third after that hit. Real Deal to the lead. And then Detail back in second. And they're going to try to chase down Real Deal in the lead, but again, it's going to be tough. They're probably going to need some collision help. Oh, tough hit there. Luke battling with Turkey, going back on board with Detail here. Oh, and Hunter and I think Turkey there. Hunter and Turkey. Pretty big hit, and Luke got clotheslined behind it as well. And it cost him even more time. Not going to help his podium battle. And I think the gaps for the podium are pretty big at this point. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know who fourth is. I wish I knew. I'm not too sure. But I think the gaps for the top three are pretty big. So I think Real Deal, Detail, and Luke, the order might switch, but I think they're pretty settled for podium spot at this time in the race, unless some crazy stuff happens. Detail going down there is not going to help. Oh, Armada, and I think Turkey again. And that was a bad one. Really rough recovery for both drivers on that one. But yeah, I think the podium's pretty well settled at this point, unless some major cheese happens. Another cross jump there with Detail. So that'll help. That'll cost him some time. Pretty good recovery, though. But yeah, I wish I knew who was fourth at this point in the race. I'm honestly not too sure. Because it seemed like the top three drivers had pretty good starts and were able to get away early and even put some of these guys a lap down early on. And then the rest of the field, it seems like one of those races where it's the podium and the rest of the field. Because it seems like all those other drivers were just having issues, collisions. And these guys at the front are having collisions too, but it seems to just not be as bad as those drivers that are stuck in the mid-pack. Seems like they're having more issues. getting involved in collisions, and then, you know, trying to dodge the collisions that happen in front of them as well. Quick look at the scoreboard there. 20-lap race, by the way, 20-lap race, so about 7 laps to go from what we saw there. Lots of issues. I think Luke getting down on that one. So detail 11 to see that. Still running away with the second place at the moment. And he's trying to, you know, his first real race of the night had Cloudle filling in, trying to see what he can do here. And obviously Halo 3 races went pretty well for him in the regular season, so not too surprising to see him running up in the podium. Real Dill, though, had some good runs on Halo 3 in the regular season, but this is easily his best run so far, having the lead this late in the race. And we haven't even seen much from him. Aside from that first lap, it seemed like he had a pretty rough first lap, and then ever since then must have just recovered really well and has just been on it ever since that first lap. Has just been absolutely on it. And again, he's just like kind of sneakily running away with this race. We haven't really seen that much from him since then. Oh wow, that was a big hit. I think that was Armada. Yeah, Armada and Detail. Wow, and Roman got the end of it as well. And that was another one where Detail almost, it kind of seemed like he could have flown out of the track. Kind of a bit of a different spot, but similar to what happened to Luke. It looked like if things worked out poorly there, he could have flown out. But that collision was so brutal that Luke is back in this battle. So the second place battle between Detail and Luke is back on. And these collisions are, Real Dill's just going to keep running away with this. I mean, he's got to have a huge gap at this point. Oh, no. The case for Detail there is going to hurt him quite a bit. And that's going to give Luke a solid gap for the second place now. And Detail's probably going to need some help to get back into this position or get back into fighting for this position. And wouldn't be too surprised if it could happen. I mean, we got a pack in front of Luke here. We got drivers that could be close in the cross jump. So we'll see. Got some NOS around the outside here on either Turkey or Slime. It's hard to tell in Halo 3. I believe this is Turkey. It's hard to tell, especially when we're on the overhead view. Oh, no! And Detail and Luke getting involved, and this is honestly one of the funniest collisions of the race here. And you'll tell, especially from Detail's POV here, I think what happened there is they both thought that something bad was going to happen, and they both swerved to avoid it. And I think all the swerve did from both drivers is kind of like threw them into each other. If one of them didn't swerve, or if both of them didn't swerve, the funny thing is, I kind of think they might have gotten through it okay. But I think what happened is they both thought that just bad things were going to happen, so they both went for the swerve, and it ended up just like creating the wreck anyways. But that was a pretty funny one. That was you don't see the swerve into each other trying to avoid collision too often. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, pretty humorous moment of the race. And Real Dill getting Hunter there. And again, just a massive gap. Real Dill, especially with that cheese collision that they just had, Real Dill's just running away with it at this point. Again, that first lap seemed like it was really rough for him. I feel like he was pretty far back in like 8th or so after that first lap. But ever since then, it must have just been clean, smooth sailing from there. Because he has a massive gap. He's like lapped most of the field. I think he's like catching up to potentially lapping the podium drivers. I don't know how the hell he's had this much of a recovery, but it's been going great for him ever since that start. I don't think this is for position here. I think this is Detail trying to put Roman a lap down here, or maybe another lap down. I'm not sure with all the cheese that's happened in this race. I think it's just one lap down. Oh, another big one for Detail. Take a look at this. Hunter and him. And that's kind of what I was talking. That was a great example of what I was talking about earlier in the race, of how the one driver just gets cheesed the wrong way. Hunter seemed to like hardly be affected at all, and now Detail has to go the wrong way to go the right way. That's like a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. Soul getting cheesed there, and I think Soul might actually have had an opportunity there. I think Soul is actually on the lead lap, and I think he's in 4th. So Soul is not that far behind Detail now. These collisions have been hitting him super hard recently, these last few laps. And I believe we're going onto the white flag here. So white flag last lap for Real Dill. We'll see if that podium battle gets any interesting. Because again, Soul's not that far behind now. And they do have another lap to go. But yeah, Real Dill, avoiding Roman there, nice. And he's just got to keep it clean. Avoid these collisions one more time around, and he'll be going to his first win on the night. Trying to bring this championship back into his favor. Get through the jump. Yup. Totally clean. He's going to do it. Real Dill taking his first win on the night. And we're going to have to wait for everybody else. We're going to have to wait for everybody else. It was a pretty big gap. So now it's so bad that we're just going to go on board with Luke, who's in second, and see if he can close it out. And it looks like he will be able to, so Luke will come home in second. So again, this win will help out Real Deal, but again, he's trying to catch up to Luke. Luke does minimize the losses there. And Detail, his first real race of the night, coming home in third, not a bad start. Soul got pretty close at the end, but not close enough. Gonna be coming home in fourth, and again, those gaps were massive, so we're just going to it. So Soul fourth, Slaunch fifth, Turkey sixth, Opix seventh, Armada eighth, Roman ninth, and Hunter rounding out the field in 10th. Congrats to Real Deal in his first one of the night. We'll take a look at the points after that race. And at the front, some changes in terms of like gains, but no actual position changes. The big position changes were at the back. Detail that first real race for him on the night. He's going to get around Armada and Hunter already. He's got his sights set on Opix and Turkey now. And Luke only a 4-point gap ahead of Real Deal now for the lead. Hope you guys enjoyed that race. See you in the next one tomorrow.